They say the worst kind of betrayal isn't the one that shatters your heart instantly, but the one that slowly poisons you, making you question everything: your marriage, your love, your own sanity. My name is Emma, and this is my story. A story of love, deception, and a truth so cruel, it nearly destroyed me. For 10 years I was married to Ethan, the man I loved with every fiber of my being. He wasn't just my husband. He was my best friend, my safe place, the father of our 2 beautiful daughters. Our life looked perfect from the outside. A beautiful home, vacations, Sunday brunches, and laughter in every room. But looking back, I see the signs now, the cracks I ignored. The lies I convinced myself were nothing more than stress or routine. The whispers in the night, the coldness in his touch, the feeling that I was losing him, little by little, to something I couldn't see. And then, one night, I saw it. It started with something small, something insignificant. His phone, which he always kept face down. Ethan wasn't the type to be secretive, but lately he had been acting different. He started showering at odd hours, coming home late, avoiding eye contact. One night, as he slept, his phone lit up. I wouldn't have checked it, but something in my gut told me to look, and there it was. An unsaved number with a simple message: "I need you." My breath caught in my throat. My heart pounded. I didn't recognize the number, but something about that text, those 3 words, made my entire body go cold. Was he cheating? Was there another woman? I wanted to believe it was a misunderstanding. So I waited. I watched. I started to notice his patterns. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed him. Thursday nights. That's when he always came home late. Work meetings, he said. But something didn't feel right. So I drove. I followed him as he left work, my fingers gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. My heart was in my throat, beating so hard I could barely breathe. I expected him to go to a hotel, maybe a woman's house, but instead he pulled into a small, secluded cafe, a place I had never been before. I parked across the street and watched. My pulse quickened as I saw him walk inside. And then I saw him, not a woman, a man. Ethan's face lit up in a way I hadn't seen in years. They hugged. They sat close, too close. The way Ethan touched his hand, the way they leaned into each other, it was intimate. Too intimate for just friends. My stomach twisted into knots. My mind refused to believe what my eyes were seeing. I wanted to scream, to run inside and demand answers. But instead, I sat there, frozen, watching my husband look at another man the way he used to look at me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay next to him, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. Who was he? How long had this been going on? Was our entire marriage a lie? The next day, I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed him again. And this time, I saw everything. A hotel, room 304. I watched from a distance as he entered, looking around nervously before disappearing inside. My hands shook. My heart pounded in my ears. I waited. 30 minutes. Then an hour. Then 2. And then I saw him. The man from the cafe. He arrived, checked his surroundings, then went inside. The door shut behind him. I wanted to break it down. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't move, because in that moment, the truth became undeniable. Ethan was cheating on me, and not just cheating, he was living a life I never knew existed. I waited for him to come home. I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the clock, my hands trembling. When he walked in, I could see it all over his face, the guilt, the exhaustion. He had no idea what was coming. "Where were you?" I asked, my voice eerily calm. "Work meeting," he lied. I reached into my pocket and slid a hotel keycard across the table. His face turned white. He looked at me, then at the keycard, and for the first time in our marriage, I saw fear in his eyes. "Who is he?" I asked. Silence. He didn't speak. He didn't deny it. He just lowered his head, his breathing uneven. And then he said it. The words that shattered my heart into a million pieces.
"I never wanted to hurt you, Emma, but this is who I am."
I wish I could say I screamed at him. I wish I could say I threw things, cursed, told him he was a monster. But I didn't. I just sat there, and I broke. I broke in a way I didn't know was possible. "Was any of it real?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "I loved you," he said. "I still do, but I've always been this way. I thought I could change. I thought marrying you, having a family, I thought it would make it go away." And that's when it hit me. He didn't just betray me. He betrayed himself, too. That night, he packed a bag. He left. And I sat in the darkness, listening to the echo of a love that never truly existed. It's been a year since I found out that the man I built my life with was someone I never really knew. A year of therapy, of learning to breathe again, of accepting that some betrayals aren't about cheating, they're about identity, about secrets too heavy to carry. I still wake up some nights, expecting him to be next to me. But he's not. And he never will be again. And that is my reality. Not all betrayals are about losing love. Some are about losing the truth.
Now that you've heard Emma's heartbreaking story, let's open up the conversation. This isn't just a story, it's a reality for many people. Betrayal, deception, and discovering that the person you loved was living a double life can be devastating. What would you do if you were in Emma's situation? Would you confront them immediately, or would you wait until you had proof? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel for stories on life issues.